Ladies and gentlemen, wow, I'm looking at all of what we've covered so far. The first show we talked with Denise was a lot that we covered there. So if you missed the first show, tune back in. It's on our YouTube channels, Facebook, interwebs, all those places where you can see what we went through and covered in depth. We got a lot more to cover here for the second show, so you don't want to miss this. And we're going to dive in here, but Denise is an expert. She's been doing this for a long time. She started when she was an infant, I think. But she does a great job, and she knows what she's talking about. She can save you a lot of hassle. So with that, let's dive in here a little bit. Denise, welcome to the second show. We're recording with you.
Nice being here.
And let's share with people some of your expertise. So tell me, one of the things I could get into a little bit, as you can imagine, as being a computer nerd, right? When we meet with people, we discuss the fact that I built the Microsoft Exchange. I started off answering phones. Like I didn't know what Microsoft Outlook really was. And within a couple of years, I'm building the Microsoft Exchange servers because I built one in my basement, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. But the point is there's a ton of technology out there and it changes all the time. And so you've been doing this since before technology was really where it's at right now for sure, to say it slightly where we're at. But tell us, how has technology changed this, and what are some of the technology features that you get to offer people?
So I started off drawing with pencil.
Not this pencil, right? But it was a pencil.
Right. And a drafting board, and we did floor plans, we did perspectives, everything was hand-drawn, which kind of sounds kind of dinosaur-like.
Wow, yeah.
But I started that way. And I mean, just right when I started into the kitchen and bath business, we were starting to get on to 2020 technologies. That's a kitchen and bath design program.
Okay.
Which it's just specialized. I mean, it actually makes our world easier. So I did learn a little bit on AutoCAD when I was in college, but mostly everything was handwritten, so I can write architecturally, and I drew everything out. And then after that, when we got into the kitchen and bath world, started doing kitchen and bath projects. But it went from really simple little floor plans and perspectives, and now we can do elevations, we can do color renderings, we can change things on a dime whenever we're with the clients. So, I mean, it's come a long way, and we really have a lot easier time explaining what we're trying to design.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because imagine when you're starting with you've got the pencil back in the one thing that's important about pencil, and she didn't say pen, is because if you're going to make
erase it.
you got to get the eraser out. You wear out the eraser, but you got to get the eraser out and make those changes. Now with the computer technology, you said AutoCAD. I'm like, I finally met somebody who's done AutoCAD. Yeah. I didn't even get into AutoCAD. I get into just about everything. But the AutoCADs, man, they get the 3D things and the graphics and the distances and everything's measured out precisely. And when you're going to make a change now, hit a button, calculate, and now the AutoCAD 3D renderings that you offer, those really allow people to make quick decisions. And
absolutely. The AutoCAD, AutoCAD is really great, and a lot of interior designers use it. But in the kitchen and bath and my world, it's already pre-programmed. So you can hit cabinets, they have refrigerators, they have stoves, they have all kinds of things. You just hit a button and it plops into the space. So it's a lot easier. You don't have to draw it out like I used to have to do.
Yeah, because that could be labor intensive, especially. Yeah. Like move that, and now you just grab it with the computer, move it, and it puts it in there. That's pretty cool. All right, so technology has made a pretty big impact in the way you get to produce things now, and helps you to make it more efficient, and so people, if they make changes, especially, goes right into what they're doing. All right, well, tell me the process. We went over this in more depth, but give me the short version, just where people call you, they sit down with you, you go over things. Give me a little bit more.
So the step one, we go out to the house. We talk on the phone first, but we go out to the house and gather information. See if we all jive with each other, and that we can help them. So that's step one. Step two, we start the concept drawings, the space planning, giving the client different options. Maybe they might like a little bit of this plan, a little bit of this plan, and we merge them together. So that is step two. Step three is we're selecting materials and just selecting materials and making sure they all go in the space. Colors of cabinetry or countertops, and Maybe handles, that's kind of like the hardest decision to pick in a kitchen. But
handles.
maybe the handles of the cabinets or whatever. And so then the next step is the installation process. So we get the contractors, we start getting bids for plumbing, electrical, all that. And then the next one, after everything is done, we've got the right price, we've got the right people, is signing the contract and making it happen.
Okay, so that's the 2-minute version. If you want the much more in-depth version, we've got that in show number 1.
Yeah.
Go look up and it'll say, Denise, Your Little Castle, show 1 on ABC. And you can go through that and see all of this process. Now, I put that process up there for a minute while you were going through it, but there's those steps again, all the way through steps.
It's on my website.
There it is. And so make sure that you do check that out, because Denise has made it pretty easy for you so that you can follow through and make sure that you know where you're going with this, and she has a process, more importantly, so you understand that this thing's going to get done.
Right.
Bottom line. And nobody wants to have to hope, I think she knows what she's doing. She's got it together, for sure. All right, well, then tell me, what's a big challenge? I mean, we all have been in business now. Everybody starts a business. You've been doing this for a long time, so what's a big challenge you went through when you were first?
So I actually started in my 20s, and so my biggest challenge was because it was kind of a man's industry where they were more of not so much a designer, but more of a salesman type of thing, where they sold you cabinets, they sold you countertops and that kind of thing. So I started back when that happened, and when this world wasn't as cool as it is now.
Right.
So I had to, being 20 and probably looking a lot younger, I had to prove that I knew what I was doing. So I studied a lot and had the right answers, and had to prove I was knowledgeable and that I could get the project where it needed to go. So that was my biggest challenge at the very beginning. Now I've got all the information that I need, and I'm no longer 20, so it's not that challenge anymore. But back in the day, I remember that was really tough.
Okay, yeah, that's something. I mean, as you've experienced, I would imagine just about every challenge there is to go through, because I've been doing this for so long.
Oh yeah,
I started so
that's
young.
all I know how to do.
Yeah, but you've nailed it. My dad told me years ago, you're going to find one thing to specialize in, and everybody must ultimately specialize, and that's what Denise has done here. 36 years of specializing in this, and so you can see the results she's got with the reviews we showed a little bit earlier in the first show, and then all the final product. And so look at that information out there, because it's available all over her website. And if you just do a search, you'll be able to dig into some of that, because she does know what she's doing. And when you're making a decision, what's the average? I mean, people spend anywhere from, I guess, on the low end, $2,000 or $3,000 or something really very small. But otherwise, people spend $50,000, $60,000.
Yeah, or even more.
Oh, even more.
So a little. So you can do like a little bit of touch-up stuff and probably spend maybe 10. It used to be 3. We're about up to 10. I mean, things are getting more expensive, and I mean, there's projects that we've done that are $400,000. Wow. So you can do like in a wide range of things. So I mean, budget's the biggest thing, is determining where you want to be, and that's like so important for us, because I can make your space super expensive by details, or I can make it look very pretty for less expensive. So that's like a big major thing, is budget.
Okay. And I guess that's a great point there, is that you can, for any budget necessary, I mean, outside of somebody who just wants, I got $300, that's not going to work. But you could say, if you want to do this, you can start down here. But if you want it to look like this, we will make it fit. We'll make it work. Right. Either end of the spectrum there, to make sure that everybody does have an answer for what they're trying to get done.
And budget's a hard thing to get out of people. So we have to try to softly make it, figure out where we want to be in a nice way.
I'll just come out and say, I got $20,000. Okay, and then okay, now I got $30,000. Right?
Yeah.
You get that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
It depends on what they. But as they see what they really want. And again, it's one of these things, you don't want to do it halfway. Right. I know there's slang we use there. We won't say it on TV, but you want to do it halfway. You want to do it make sure it's right, because this isn't something you're going to change every 6 months.
Exactly.
This will be set for people for 30 and 40 years.
If it's worth it, they will spend a little bit more if they want it, bad enough.
I can imagine they look at it and they're like, okay, we do want that to look right.
Right.
And so we're going to make an upgrade. But you're also helping people to really improve the value of their house.
Right.
So where they had a kitchen and people would have walked in and said, I don't even want to buy this house, to, holy cow, I got to have it, because, and we'll pay more because of this.
Yeah, plus it does sell your house. I mean, like if you were to sell it, it's like the number one thing that sells the house.
Yes.
The kitchen.
Kitchen
and the baths.
Kitchen and bath. That's where you want to spend your money. or the basement. Yeah, get that finished basement. She does all of that too, by the way. We're going to show some more of her work up there too, because Denise really knows what she's doing. All right, you have a favorite quote, something that kind of has inspired you, or something you kind of live by that kind of ties into the business?
Well, so I always say less is more.
Okay.
And I do have clients that try to cram in a whole bunch of things into the space. I have to kind of weed through it to make sure it's not too, I don't know, clustered, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, less is more. I mean, we take what you have, we take the important things, and maybe tone it down by a color or tone it down by a detail, which works. So I take what your ideas, and then I try to make them all work together in a good way.
So that makes me think, how often does somebody come in and they pretty much know what they want, they lay it out, and in a short period of time you got them ready to go? Or more likely, they got some idea, and you're going to spend there's going to be a number of changes made based on what they initially thought they were going to have versus what you've put together, and say, okay, quite a bit different than what I'd imagined, but now we've got everything we need.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people, because of the internet, that bring in a lot of information. So a lot of them already know what they want. It's just making all of those like individual ideas, bring them together and make them into one space that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and you talked about on the first show, we talked about Pinterest.
Yeah.
I guess I should have thought of that as a matter. But Pinterest, literally, and people can make money off their Pinterest stuff. But they come up with images they've got off Pinterest, right?
Yeah.
And they say, and I've got these 7 different things, pictures, objects, components, whether that's the countertop or the cabinets or the refrigerator. I want to take these, there's 7 different things from 7 different projects, and they want them all to fit in their one project, and you've got to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, or the paper towel roll that they want to put above the trash can in a creative way. And so we got that from Pinterest a few times, and luckily we have our custom cabinet guy that can make it happen. But it's like all of those things that somehow somebody's rigged up, and we're trying to make it work in a very pretty kitchen.
Sure.
So, yep.
Well, and that's what we're talking about. You're really taking a conglomeration. Somebody gets their ideas, they put them down on paper, they've got their stack of stuff, and they put them, and they can't even make them fit together, but they lay them next to each other. So, but see what I mean here? You see what I mean here? And you've got to take all that and make it all match and fit and configured and be. I guess there's sometimes things may not be compatible. You got to have to find a different vendor from what they originally thought. Right.
So sometimes they won't work in the space, and we will. I mean, that's the good thing about, I think, working with me, is that we do have, I mean, I'm so creative. And so I somehow figure it out. I mean, I know that's the easiest thing I can do is design. And so I will figure it out somehow.
And I put up on the wall while you're talking there to look at that, but say, talk about, when she says she's creative, holy manoli, look at these finished jobs. These are unbelievable. Marble and slate and granite, and I mean, cabinets that are going up to the ceiling, and just, Denise really knows her stuff. And it's worth having somebody to do this, because it's like, imagine essentially your work is priced into the project. I imagine you're going to say, here's a separate bill for what I did. So they're going to pay for this one way or the other. So they're going to have it done professionally? Yeah. Or are they going to have somebody's professional input to make sure that this gets put together correctly? And it's better to have somebody who knows what they're doing. Help them just, anyway. Yeah. Especially when you're spending $400,000. So maybe not.
That's for like a whole house.
That's a whole house. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say that's a hell of a kitchen right there. but yeah, I got you. All right. So what is a major objection? I guess it always, what people always say, it always comes down to price. Is that what the number one objection everybody always has? What is an objection somebody has in their mind they want to understand before they move forward with getting a project?
Well, so you know what? I think one of the biggest things is that it is. I think the very first, when you first meet up, the design fee is a big challenge to get out of a client, just because they want to get 3 bids or they want to get different people's opinions. But the problem with that is when you don't have one design that you're working with, you can't get apples to apple bids. So you have to have that design before you can know if they're looking for, I guess, price budget. But the biggest challenge is getting that first deposit. So that's where I give a little bit of myself and a little bit of time just to let them know that I am okay and that I will help and I'm fun and I'm enthusiastic about my job. And I think once people get to know how we work in our company, I feel like they feel more comfortable. It's like I'm not just that designer that, doesn't listen maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they enjoy working with us. We're very down to earth at our company and we do enjoy our job. So it's that deposit I think is the biggest challenge.
And that ultimately goes into the
Yes,
whole bill. That's a
it
deposit
goes-
towards the work that they're getting
It
done
does.
anyway. And you have that anyway, really. So
Yeah.
but that's when they've kind of committed to you then. And you
Yes.
say, hey, here we
Yeah.
go. But then they get to really see what you're going to put together. And like I said, I keep putting up on the wall here. I just said, look at the work that's been done. And Denise's history here is unbelievable. And you can see all this work on her website. But go to DeniseDeen.com, DeniseDeen.com, and look at some of this work because I've never seen so much beautiful work all in one place. I don't think, but you've worked at this for a while, and the internet and the interwebs, and
Well, it's my life, really. I've done it all my life, and that's all I know how to do, really. So, but I enjoy it.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
and you figured out that this internet thing is a good place to maybe
Oh, it
showcase
is.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give you a copy of your interview here because you really do show off some great stuff. We want people to know that we thought so highly of you too. Well, okay, the objection is obviously something a lot of people. But yeah, then they put a little skin in the game. They're ready to do this. So what do you enjoy most? What do you get the most satisfaction out of this? I mean, ultimately, you've got to feel great when you've got somebody's kitchen. It just looks like
Yeah,
it's a fabulous result.
It's just the communication with the client, going from the start of finding out what they want, through the process of going and designing and creating, to the very final when they're in the space and they're like, yeah, I see what you were saying now.
Okay.
I love it. And I love what you did over here, and I like what you did here, and I like the spices by my area over here. And so I love hearing the positive, just the positive voice of the client and the smile. I love smiles.
Yeah, you're not dealing with too much of people saying, "Well, today I came home from work and blah blah blah."
Yeah,
you're getting to make
no.
them feel this is our dream we're getting put
Yeah.
together. This is what we're going to make
Right.
raise our kids and have an incredible family that we get to enjoy time in the kitchen. People spend most of their time with family in the kitchen or dining room.
Right. They hang out there.
And really get to do so. Well, that's really cool. One of my favorite questions I always like to ask is, how do you feel you contribute best to the community? And I saw she wrote down her answers here for me to see too, and she put them all in pink too because that's like that's her color.
Yeah,
and so,
it is.
Tell me, how do you feel like you most contribute to the community?
So I do help, like, with the elderly. I mean, I feel like sometimes they don't know where to go, and I have gone into their home that they live in. I've measured up their things that they have, and I've moved it into, you got the cowboy hat.
Yeah, we put that. Now we're getting them when you're helping people. We got to put the cowboy hat on.
And I move them into the space that they have and make sure that what they love and they had in their existing house moves into their retirement home. And I feel like I'm helping them that way because I don't think there's a lot of people that will do that. So I've done that in a few instances, and I've helped people with any kind of ailments that need help with ADA type of space. So
yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. Like I said, I had personally dealt with that with my father, and just like there was so much attention that needed to be paid attention to. Lucky I'm a little bit handy, but I came home and my mom's like, well, we got steps, just 2 steps from the bedroom to the kitchen. Just it was a whole set of steps, but it was 2 steps. I said, Mom, I'm making a ramp, and I came home with a 4x8 piece of particle board because it was a little whatever could cut and fit in there, and then before you know it. But those are the things you have to address because people, when they have special I don't say
Needs.
needs, but special things that they they have to have in place, you get to address those directly, not by saying here's what I recommend, but actually designing that into what you're doing. And an elderly couple, you want to make it easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get around the counter and make sure that they can access everything. But you take that all into account, and those are the things you really get to do to make a difference.
You have to listen a lot. I do find myself listening and taking a lot of notes, and then researching too.
Research. Now tell me how you research. What kind of research are
Well,
you talking about?
you've got Google.
Right, there's this new thing called Google.
You got Google, And then just in certification of my kitchen and bath certification, I have a lot of books and I have a lot of things that I had to know to get that certification. So there's a lot of rules and a lot of measurements that are required in those things. So just a lot of resources that I already have just because of all the years of experience.
I got you. Because there's certain requirements for certain heights and distances and spaces that you
Yep.
got to make for people. And if somebody could come in and say, oh, you got to redo this
Yeah.
because this was not measured and put appropriate so that a wheelchair
Right.
can fit through, or
Yeah.
et cetera. Those are important.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why you need somebody who's an expert at it,
Yeah.
to make sure that these things get done.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get them done, you might get a little trouble with the inspector later. You try to sell your house
Right.
and they're going to say, you can't sell it like this. These things have to get changed or else.
Plus, I do, if I don't know, I will find out. So that's the one thing. I have resources to go figure it out.
And that's what you count on. Where you can spend as much time, you can be a Google expert, certified by Google to be an expert at whatever, but do you really know what you're talking about?
Right.
And then when you come up with it, did you find the right answer?
Right,
And if you come up with the wrong answer, now you've created a much bigger problem for yourself.
Yep.
That's not something you want to do on a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 job, right?
Correct.
Cool. Tell me a little bit then, what do you do for fun? Lots of fun things to do in our
Do
area.
for fun in St. Louis? Well, I mean, so for fun, I actually hang out at the Lake of the Ozarks. We
Right.
do a lot of boating over there.
Okay.
So I get away from the city,
Right?
go chill out at the lake.
The Lake of the Ozarks. Fun place. Been
Yeah.
there many times. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite place you enjoy going to at the lake?
No, I like them all.
All over the place. on the water.
Yeah,
That's what they talk about.
yeah.
Okay.
It's quiet.
And a personal passion of yours outside of work. This is an interesting one. It makes sense. A lot of girls.
Do you
Okay.
get the pencil? Oh, you can't, that doesn't require
Right,
a
yeah,
pencil.
no, yeah. But take note
So,
of this
well,
one. This is
I
good.
mean, I like anything girly, first of
Okay.
all. And so I love shoes. That's been I just collect shoes and I collect, anything that has to do with jewelry, shoes. I love doing. And I also honestly put time into designing my own space. So like my own home, I like to do all the newer things. So I'm constantly remodeling in my own house.
Yeah, so all
is
of
fun.
it sounds like just about everything she does, even as a hobby, ties
Yeah.
into what your passion
yeah.
is for life. Design, whether it's your outfits.
Yeah.
She's got some great looking boots on, by
Yeah.
the way. She said, I wear my cowboy boots for the cowboy. That's cool. But then your own house gets designed that
Yeah.
way, and everything you do kind of
Right.
surrounds you. They say if you're going to be an expert in anything, you're going to be working. You got to put 10,000 hours in before you're ever going to become
Oh,
an
yeah.
expert.
Got plenty
So
of
that's at
that.
least 5 years at 2,000 at 40 hours a week. So do the math. But yeah, it sounds like you're taking it beyond that, and you've become an expert
Right.
beyond, and a guru, if you will.
Yeah.
That's where you can really dedicated to doing this all the time.
Yeah.
Well, tell me then, are you looking to expand? Are you
Always.
hiring? Tell me what your
I
your
mean,
plans
we're
are for
always
growth.
looking to expand if we find the right person. So we've worked with kid designers out of college. And any seasoned, designers or anybody that's got a little bit of design flair and are willing to have fun, be enthusiastic, and they are willing to learn, so you can.
And that brings up another interesting question I have. What kind of educational background? Do they have interior design classes that people take in college? Or,
Oh, yeah.
And then how
So-
much do they learn? Well, I'll answer that first and then then what do you got to teach them after they get out?
Yeah, there's all kinds. The community, St. Louis Community College has a nice design program, but like there are design decorating programs, there are design interior design programs. Mine was more of design architecture program, so there's so many different ways and different colleges that you can do. But yeah, I was one that did the tearing out walls. I love to tear walls out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's never, whatever I do, the project's never going to be easy for the contractor. That's that's a good and bad thing, but it definitely makes the space very unique.
Yeah, I was saying, but that makes
Yeah.
it look great. Right?
Yeah,
When you've got everything put in the
absolutely.
right place. You got a wall coming in the middle
Yeah.
of this. My parents did that
Take it
recently.
out.
Yeah, they had a wall, 2 entries on either side of the kitchen. They just took out this whole wall
yeah.
over here. Now you just walk. The kitchen's open to
Yeah.
the family room.
Yeah.
But that's a tear down of a wall.
Right.
Not as hard as people may think, but it is some work involved. And
It
you gotta
is.
Make
And
sure
then
that's a load bearing wall, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But
And we have a engineer that we work with that will go in and tell us what we need to do to make it work. So that's important.
yeah, I was gonna say when you start talking about load bearing walls and say what that means is where all the pressure, most of the weight is coming down, and if you take out this wall, then the ceiling starts coming in.
Right.
You want to have an engineer.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Denise has an engineer on staff and or part of your
Yeah.
team that can help you to make sure that that's not a problem. Because
Right.
boy, you want to talk about lawsuits and
Oh,
expenses,
yeah.
and somebody comes and says, "Oh, we tore out this wall and didn't realize." Well,
Yeah.
another reason to have an expert,
Right.
because you don't want to be doing that on your own.
No.
That could be a
bad
major
headache.
problem. Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left here. 3 minutes, I'm sorry, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to show. I'm going to showcase a little bit more of the work again. If you saw us on the first show, we went over a little bit, but I want you to give a little bit of detail on a couple of the projects, if you don't mind, sharing us with us a little bit about each and one of these if you can. So I'm going to put these on the wall to everybody to see, and then as we scroll through them, I'm clicking here right in the middle.
Okay.
And so that is a white kitchen.
Yeah, it's very white.
Tell me about it.
That client was on a budget, so that's a very nice looking kitchen on a budget. We use less expensive cabinets, nice handles. We actually have a natural hickory floor that we put in, and we have a waterfall countertop. So that is actually really popular right now, where the countertop comes down over the edge.
Oh yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. Okay, yeah.
So
I realize. And so that's going to help. That makes it easier for everybody. I'm going to put these up on the right side now too as well, because then Denise doesn't turn around and look behind her. But you've got that's a budget. What was that one? How much? Give me an estimate if you don't mind. One on the wall behind you that you just talked about.
I mean,
how much?
It was probably 50 or so. Yeah, 40 maybe. I don't know.
And tell me one here on the right. Then you want me to stop on that you would like me to talk about? Because I see a couple cool ones out. This one here. Can we talk about this? All right.
Oh, well, that's, have you been to Ferguson? Ferguson Plumbing Supply?
No, I haven't.
Or show.
Is that
So
just
that's
your-
a showroom.
Okay, that's their showroom.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
we
that
did.
looks like
That's actually, we did the showroom for them, and we did that's the custom cabinet guy that we work with.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's pretty cool looking, but that's their showroom.
Okay, so you actually designed this showroom, and then
Yeah.
they put it into place, and this
Yeah.
is where they've got multiple different.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we
okay.
had, it's very challenging because there's like a gazillion appliances in there, and you have to make it fit perfect.
I gotcha.
Sub-Zero, Wolf.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna go back here. Let's scroll over to the right and so share with me a little bit more. Okay, here now bathrooms too, obviously. And what do you like?
Yeah,
Tell me about.
that one, she just really wanted a place to sit and put her makeup on. So we actually, in the drawers, have outlets for the blow dryer.
In the drawers. Okay.
And it was it was a medium-sized bathroom, but she had a lot she wanted in there. So we have tower cabinets on the sides and kind of a symmetrical appearance. But we have a tile detail in the shower.
And that's got two shower heads there.
Yeah.
See.
Handheld and a rain shower.
Okay. All right.
And a freestanding tub.
Wow. Okay. Let's scroll to the
And
next
my favorite is the pocket door with the mirror on it.
pocket door with a mirror on it. Did I miss that? Is that
yeah,
over?
it's right over there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
All
those
right.
are fun.
Very cool. All right. As we finish up here, we've got 5 seconds left.
Okay.
So tell us real quick, what is this one?
That is a modern bathroom where the shower is hidden behind the second floating vanity. It's a huge shower, and they just wanted modern. They were super modern, and that's all they wanted. Floating vanities and a lot of storage space, which is on the sides.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Check it out, everybody. Get more from Denise. You're watching Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.